Hello everyone, and welcome to our presentation on the fundamentals of project cost control. This presentation is designed to give you a solid foundation for managing project finances effectively. Just as a bartender carefully measures ingredients to craft the perfect cocktail, a project manager must meticulously manage costs to deliver a successful project. Let's get started. Before we dive deep, let's look at a high-level overview of the control costs process, as defined in project management standards. This diagram shows the process in terms of inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. Inputs are what we need to start. This includes the project management plan with key documents like the cost baseline and performance measurement baseline, as well as project documents and work performance data. Tools and techniques are what we use to analyze the inputs. This is where the real work happens. We use expert judgment, but critically, we perform data analysis. This includes techniques like earned value analysis, variance analysis, and trend analysis, which we'll touch upon later. Outputs are the results of the process. This includes work performance information, crucial cost forecasts, and any necessary change requests. We also get updates to our project management plan and other project documents like the Lessons Learned Register and Risk Register. Think of it as a factory. We take in data, process it using these analytical tools, and produce actionable information and updates. Effective cost control can be broken down into three key activities. First, we plan project costs, which involves estimating the total resource costs required to complete the project. Second, we manage project finances. This is where we allocate the funds we've estimated and set clear spending expectations. And third, we control project costs. This is an ongoing process of monitoring our actual spending against the plan, identifying any differences or variances, and taking corrective action to get back on track. By the end of this module, you'll have the fundamental knowledge to effectively manage all three of these areas. Let's begin with the foundation of all cost control: budgeting and the cost baseline. In this section, we will answer several key questions. First, what is project budgeting? It's the process of estimating total costs, allocating funds, and setting spending expectations. The keys here are accuracy, completeness, and making sure it's aligned with the project scope. Next, what are the key budget components? We'll break down the different types of costs, including direct costs like labor, indirect costs like overhead, and contingency reserves for identified risks. Then, what is a cost baseline? This is the approved, time-phased budget that we measure our performance against. It's important to note that it excludes management reserves, and changes require formal approval. We'll also look at creating the cost baseline by aggregating the costs of individual work packages using inputs like the WBS and project schedule. Finally, we'll clarify the difference between the budget versus the baseline. The budget is the total estimated cost, while the baseline is the approved plan for how you will spend that budget over time. This distinction is the foundation for control and measurement. Here you can see a simple project budget template. This is a practical example of how these concepts are applied. You can see it's broken down by project and then by individual tasks and subtasks. Notice the key columns. We have sections for different cost types like labor, materials, and fixed costs such as travel and equipment. Most importantly, look at the balance section on the right. For each task, we have the budget amount and the actual amount. The under/over column instantly tells us where we stand. A positive number might indicate we are under budget, while a negative number in parentheses, like the $1,290 for the first task, shows a cost overrun. This kind of tool is essential for tracking performance at a detailed level and provides the raw data needed for cost control. Now let's explore the anatomy of a complete project budget. As we've said, project budgeting is the process of estimating the total resource costs needed to complete a project. It sets the spending expectations and requires accuracy and alignment with the project's scope. A comprehensive budget is typically broken down into these four components. Direct costs, which you can see here make up the largest portion at 60%. These are costs directly tied to the project work, like labor, materials, and equipment. Indirect costs, shown here at 20%. These are shared costs necessary for the project but not tied to a specific task, such as office utilities, administrative salaries, or general overhead. Contingency reserves, making up 15% of this example budget, this is a critical component. It's the budget set aside to handle identified risks, the things we call known unknowns. Finally, many budgets include management reserves, shown here as 5%. This is an optional reserve for unforeseen work or risks that were not identified, the unknown unknowns. This part of the budget is typically controlled by management and is not part of the cost baseline. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe to the channel. In our next video, we will discuss cost baseline.